found in the markets and in the home. It can be used in our local delicacies and it's very medicinal. It is called alligator pepper, but we call it on Ghanaian dialect as Fomwesa. This week on the Ghanaian Farmer, we bring you tips and educational information that you need to know about cultivating alligator pepper only in the Eastern region. Get interactive, share your views and your questions with us, and we'll get your response for it. You can also follow us on our social media platform, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, The Ghanaian Farmer. This program is proudly brought to you by Lizzie Tomato Mix and Leap Tomato Mix. I'm going for a quick break, but when I come back, Kwame will join us to tell us all that we need to know about cultivating alligator pepper. Stay tuned. It's another beautiful day on the Ghanaian Farmer. My name is Enyonam and we are still in the Eastern region. This week we bring you all that you need to know about alligator pepper. I'm told it is only grown here in the Eastern region. And so I'm going to chat with the farmer for him to tell us more about all that you need to know about the business aspect of alligator pepper. Kwame, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Now, quickly, if we mention alligator pepper or a Fomwesa, what is it?
Thank you very much. Alligator pepper, as we all know in Ghana, is a Fomwesa. It's a herbaceous plant that grows in the wild, like you see around here. It's very, 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 very difficult to plant it. That's why it does well just in the forest terrains. So I would say it's a spice. Okay. It's a medicine. It's a medicine. It's for everything. So it has a lot of uses. But then just to put it, it's a spice that is used for. It's used in our delicacies as medicinal purposes, and it has a lot of uses in a ways. Okay. So it's a spice. Yeah. Okay.
You said it is only grown in the forest areas, alone. Why is it like that?
So if you look around, you can see a lot of forest canopies around. It doesn't grow in the direct sunlight. Okay. You need a bit of shade. Right. So it can be under a shade, so it doesn't burn when the sun sets on it. Okay. So you need a bit of forest, not like a complete forest, a bit of canopy just to keep it alive. Okay. When it doesn't rain, it needs a bit, not total sunlight, about 50% of sunlight and 50% of shade. Okay. That's why we grow them in the forest terrain.
How is alligator pepper cultivated? Take me through the process.
So first, the usual land clearing, you clear your land. As I said, you need a forest terrain, which has a lot of forest, like a lot of trees. So you have to cut some of the trees out to make sure you have the sun penetrating through it. So after you're done preparing your land, you definitely have to clear. If you don't burn it, burning doesn't really help when you're farming. So after clearing, we have what we call the sucker. So you take a bit of sucker.
Can you show me the sucker?
Yeah. So a bit of the sucker. Okay. So the sucker has the roots around it. So I think you can propagate it through the seeds. Okay. But then just to make it very quick, and we have a lot of suckers available, you just go with the sucker, which has the roots around it. Okay. So usually we plant them during the rainy season because they will burn.
Only be planted during
the rainy season. Yeah, you need very good rainfall pattern. And that is why I said we grow them in the forest terrains because it rains here a lot. Okay. Even during the dry season, you still have it rain around here. In February, we have a bit of rains over here. In March, we have a bit of rains over here. Okay. So that is why, as I said, it grows only in the forest terrains because we are actually in the forest, the rainforest, just to put it. So we grow them, we propagate them through the suckers, and it takes about 12 months, about a year, to start to harvest the alligator pepper. Yeah.
12 months.
12 months
before you can start harvesting.
Sure.
Okay, I realize that there is some space in between the suckers that have been planted. Good. Why is it so?
So when you plant just one sucker, in about a year and two, you realize that they multiplicate. Okay. It's a rhizome, so they multiplicate. Right. So you have to give a spacing of about 10 feet. Okay. And plant them. So within time, you realize that they will come together. So this is not up to 3 years. I mean, within 3 years, we realize that they will all come together. They will crowd, which you have to do some prunings and all that. So we plant them by giving intervals. Okay. Exactly.
All right. Apart from you looking for a forest area to plant, what sort of soil texture?
Good. That's a very good question. Exactly. So the reason why we look for the forest is, ideally, we can conclude that forest is left for a very long time. So it's very fertile. Okay. When the forest is left for about 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years, it replaces its nutrients. So You know, when you're going for a forest land, definitely you're rest assured that it's fertile.
Okay.
But then alligator pepper, you need a very fertile soil to plant your alligator pepper.
Okay.
You need a very good, fertile, rich soil, full of nutrients to make it grow. So, yeah, you need a very good soil, a loamy soil, just to put it. That has a very, very good texture, a lot of nutrients in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
If I'm cultivating 1 acre of alligator pepper, how many of these sackets do I need?
So it depends on the spacing. Though I mentioned 10 feet. Somebody might probably go like, I want to do it 7 feet.
Okay.
Somebody probably go like, I want to do 6 feet.
Okay.
Somebody might go 10 feet. So it depends on the feet that you're planting. So I think about an acre, maybe you're looking at about 1,000 pieces of sackets.
Okay.
Then you spread it around. Yeah.
How much is one sold?
I think about one cedi. Yeah, about 1 cedi per sucker. Yeah,
Okay.
1 cedi per
Right.
sucker.
If the fact that we still need a very fertile land, do we still need any inputs?
Of
like
course.
fertilizer?
Exactly. So the reason why we go with the fertile land is just to make it grow very fast.
Okay.
But then as time goes on, definitely we are. It's just like human beings. You have to feed it. You have to give it fertilizer, no matter what. No matter how fertile the soil is, you have to still give it some form of chemicals, some form of fertilizer, just to boost the whole growing process.
So
Yeah.
within the 12 months I'm waiting to harvest, how many times do I apply this fertilizer?
So within the first 12 months, we don't really apply any fertilizer.
Okay.
So when it starts to fruit, then we put this normal NPKs and all that.
Okay.
Normal manure and all that works with it. It's just like the normal fertilizers we use around.
Okay.
Yeah, not anything different. Just the normal NPKs, the normal NPKs that we use for our normal farming activities.
All right. At what point do I start pruning my farm?
So as I said, you know, when you plant, you use just one sucker to cultivate when you're planting.
Okay.
You just need one. But with time, you realize that they will crowd up. So when you start harvesting, you realize that there are some dead ones in it. So
The ones looking brown.
The brown ones.
Okay.
You have to prune them. We call it pruning. So you pick them out just to help the fresh ones to, because you know, though they look brown,
Okay.
they are still taking nutrients. So you don't have to leave them on the ground. You take them out to just leave the fresh ones to get enough nutrients just within that space to work with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now I realize that it goes through 3 phases. The fruiting.
Yeah.
When it starts fruiting, how is the color like?
So when it starts fruiting, it looks green. It looks
Very green, like the one
very
we have
green.
down
Yeah, like
there.
what we have over here.
Okay.
Let me just plot for you. Let me come out.
Okay.
So when it's green like this, it's yet to, you know, it starts to color.
Okay.
You know, so it turns from green, then you see it all red.
Okay.
That means it's ready
Okay.
Yeah.
For harvesting.
for harvesting.
Okay. So after harvesting, what else do I do to harvest?
So from harvesting, when you harvest it, you can either crush them open and bring the seed out
Okay.
and dry just the seed.
Right.
But usually we dry it completely and leave the
Dry
seed
with
in
the
it
pod.
with the pod,
Okay.
which takes about 4 or 5 days. If you have very good sunlight, about 4 or 5 days, it should be ready.
Okay.
Yeah. Then it turns into this very hard shell.
You are
like-
saying.
Exactly.
Okay. So after 12 months, when I start harvesting, how many times within the 12 months do I harvest my
So
alligator pepper?
it's an annual crop, which we harvest it yearly.
Okay.
But when you're harvesting, usually harvesting starts from somewhere from February.
Okay.
So through from February, March, April, May, June, you harvest till the next year. So like about 4 or 5 months in a year. We harvest, about 4 to 5 months in a year.
All right. So in my first harvest for my 1 acre farmland, how many sacks am I likely to carry away?
Frankly speaking, we're not able to quantify.
Okay.
So it all depends on how well you take very good care of your farm. But then with the little I've seen, if you're able to do an acre with the little that I'm listening, with all the farmers you have around, about 40, 50 bucks per acre, you should be able to get it in a
All
year.
right.
Yeah.
Okay. So after harvesting, drying, and then packaging for sales, how much is a sack of alligator pepper?
So it's either we sell it fresh or we sell it dry.
Okay.
For us, it stands, we are selling a fresh bag, that's about 25 kg, bag of the fresh ones for about 300 cedis.
Okay.
You know, between 300 350, the prices vary. So that's why it goes up to about 400 cedis per bag. It varies.
Okay.
You know, when, you know, what we call like demand and supply.
Yes.
When there's so much demand for it, it goes very high. But when the supply is so much, the prices come down.
Okay.
So between 350 to 400 cedis per, that 25 kg fresh bag.
Okay.
That's for the fresh one.
Right.
So with the fresh ones, when you dry them, they shrink.
Okay.
So the prices changes when it's dry. So you can do the math from there.
Right.
I won't tell you.
Okay.
Do the math.
And Chibwesiako, Junior Chalmawun to me. He is into different crops. He has rubber, he also has plantain, and today we are talking about alligator pepper. This young man likes money. I'm going for a quick break. I'll be right back. Thanks for saying you're still watching The Ghanaian Farmer, and my name is Zenyonam. We are discussing the benefits derived from alligator pepper here in the Eastern region, and I'm chit-chatting with Kwame. You can interact with us on our social media platform, on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram, YouTube, The Ghanaian Farmer. So, Kwame, let's look at how much you have to invest or expected to invest in case you want to cultivate an acre land of alligator pepper.
Yeah. It's very expensive because of the terrain we are talking about. We're looking at the forest terrain, which has a lot of trees. As I said, when you get the forest land, it has a lot of trees that you need to cut some out, make it a bit sunlight, direct, like, you need a bit of sunlight for the alligator pepper to do well. Not 100% sunlight, but about 50%. So you have to cut the trees, you have to weed. And it's a bit expensive before even the land purchasing and all that. So it's very expensive. Yeah, pretty expensive. I can give you that is me.
My viewers will always ask me for how much. So can you give us an
does it
estimate?
include the land or
yes, land and everything?
Of course. So we're looking at the land, purchasing the land of almost 3,000 cedis per acre. And the clearing can cost about almost 1,000 cedis per acre. Then before the tree cutting and all that can cost almost 1,000 cedis as well. So that alone, before the buying of the suckers, we look at almost 7,000-8,000 cedis per acre. Yeah.
For cultivating.
For cultivating.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So my next question is that, considering what you invest in and what you make at the end of the day from sales,
it's very
do you
profitable.
break even?
It's very, very profitable.
It's very profitable.
Very, very profitable. It all depends on how much work you put into it. You know, farming doesn't start when you're done planting. Farming begins when you're done planting and take very good care of what you actually planted. So if you're able to take very good care of what you plant, definitely you make the money.
Who are your buyers, people who buy from you?
Frankly speaking, we don't really have a lot of usage of alligator pepper in Ghana. We have more of the foreigners coming to buy our alligator pepper.
Really?
We have people come from Nigeria, people come from Togo, people come from Ivory Coast, people come from Benin.
All the way to this
Ghana, to come buy alligator pepper. Just to put it, the whole of Ghana is only within this stretch, as someone can say, Orum, that you can find alligator pepper from.
Interesting.
The whole of Ghana is only as someone can say Orum that you can find alligator pepper from. We are the only people who grow alligator pepper.
I see.
So when you go all over Africa, those who come around here, Nigerians, Ivorians, Togolese, they all come here, right here, to come buy the alligator pepper from us.
See.
Yeah.
That's interesting. And that's very good to know. Now, my next question has to do with the number of times I have to do pruning in my farm.
Good.
At what point do you start the pruning?
So, usually when it's flowering, when you're about harvesting, you don't do much of a pruning. But when you harvest, now the tree gets tired. The tree that you harvested from will get tired. So it starts to turn brown. So you need to take it out for another one to sprout. So usually pruning is done usually after harvesting, so that the new leaves, new flowers can regenerate. So that's where we do most of the pruning after harvesting.
You did mention that it needs sunlight and a bit of rainfall. So when it doesn't rain, how then do you plant your pepper?
Remember I said something like, this is the only terrain. We are in a rain forest. We are actually standing on a rain forest. Even when it's not raining, elsewhere it rains over here. So in a month, at least it will rain about 2 or 3 times over here. When it's not rain, that's the dry season. But when it's rainy season, constantly, from morning till evening, it rains over here. That is why it does well over here. And to add, even during the dry season, the peak of the dry season, February, March, when you come here very early in the morning, there's a huge dew. And the dew also serves as a rainfall to the alligator peppers. Exactly.
I see. Are there any challenges associated with planting an alligator pepper?
We can't do much of chemicals. We don't do much of the weedicides. It's all hand weeding, hand pruning, like you can see the workers do. So that is just a bit of the challenge. It's just difficult to take care of it. But then when you put in much money and you do it, you get the money back as well.
Do you do intercropping with alligator pepper? Because I see trees around and I see a few other trees as well.
Good.
Does it still do well with all of this around?
Naturally, if you want to plant something on the land, you need a bare land. Naturally, you need to cut all the trees down. But as I said, alligator pepper needs a bit of shade. So you can't completely cut all the trees off the land. So as a result, it makes it very difficult to intercrop. things under the alligator pepper.
Okay.
Yeah. But then likewise, you can do some plantains and all that. But it doesn't do well like having all the trees cut off 100%.
Okay.
Because we have a bit of trees and a bit of the shrubs all over. When you put the plantains, intercrop them with the plantain, they don't really do well. Like how you're going to plant a normal plantain, cutting all the trees down. Exactly.
Okay. Are we able to do something apart from taking off the seeds, the pod? Is there any benefit for the pod?
The pods, I don't really know the benefits of the pods,
Okay.
but I know the benefits of the seed.
Okay.
itself.
What do we do with the seeds?
Alligator pepper has a lot of uses, numerous, that I think I have a lot in my mind.
Okay.
But then the first that is very common is a spice.
Okay.
Just like black pepper. I know we don't really use it much in Ghana, but then it's a very good spice where it's used very well in Nigeria. I know of friends who use alligator pepper a lot. Okay. So it's a spice that is used in our normal delicacies,
Regular
like stew and everything.
Okay.
And it has a lot of medicinal purposes.
Okay.
One is it's one of the most powerful aphrodisiac.
For men or women?
For both.
Hey.
Yeah,
So
aphrodisiac.
if I choose the seeds, what do I get?
It increases libido.
Hello,
It
my
increases
girls
libido.
out there.
You
If
know.
you have low libido,
Exactly.
I have medicine for you.
And the seeds helps to heal wounds a lot.
Okay.
So when you have a fresh wound and you grind some of the seeds, you just rub it on top of the wound.
Okay.
It heals. It has a lot of antioxidant properties in it.
Interesting.
Yeah, it helps in digestion as well. It helps in constipation as well. It has a lot of medicinal purposes
I
that you
see.
can actually read about it. Alligator
Okay.
pepper.
Okay.
And another name is grain of paradise.
Okay.
I mean, when you go to Nigeria, they call it arere. And it has a name, arere.
Okay.
When you go to Guinea, they call it the Guinea pepper or the Guinea grain. So it's something that is very common.
Considering the fact that it is only grown in this part of the country, how huge are you cultivating? Are you able to meet the demands of the buyers?
So, as I said, it's usually seasonal.
Okay.
Between February, March, April, May, it's done. Like you won't find it over here. We have a lot of people who come over here to buy from us.
Right.
So the demand is there. It's massive. Just that it's so difficult that you can't really do much. To have an acre of alligator pepper is a lot. It needs a lot of work to actually have an acre of alligator pepper.
Is it in terms of land or money or what exactly?
Yeah, in terms of that, because
Okay.
it's very, very labor intensive. As I said, we don't do much of the chemicals. It's more of doing manual pruning, manual weeding. Everything is manual. We don't do anything mechanized over here.
Okay.
So it makes it very difficult to expand.
Okay.
And as I said, if there's a lot of money, of course you can do it big though. But the challenges, as I'm saying, is how to work on it. It's very difficult.
Okay.
Yeah.
Considering the fact that a lot of work goes into this, to get this at the end of the day, how are you farmers putting yourself together to ensure you get good price for all the effort that you put into it? Because coming from where we park our car to this place, if not for the grace of motorbike,
Great. Great.
So tell me,
Great.
Is it
So
worth what you get from your suffering?
It's worth it, but not worth it. I
Okay.
think we can get more out of this. We can get more out of this. We have people come from other countries. I don't even want to mention names. They come here and they price us. But then when we look at the work that we've put in, we give it to them, thinking we've made money.
Right.
But I think there's so much money to be made out of this.
Okay.
So we are coming together as a group to try and come together as a team. We have a lot of farmers, outgoers around. We come together and see and come to a base price that when people come over here to buy them, we can also price them that this is how much you want to sell alligator pepper for. So, because it's very difficult, as I said, very, very difficult to plant it, and we have to get something better out of it.
It's difficult to plant, and of course, they need to get a better pricing for this alligator pepper at the end of the day. You're still watching The Ghanaian Farmer. My name is Zenyunam, and I'm speaking with Kwame, who is into planting alligator pepper. It's very, very medicinal, and it's also in high demand. I'm going for 60 seconds. When I come back, we'll be wrapping up on this interview. I'm sure you've got 1 or 2 tips that you can work with. I'm going for a quick bit of stay tuned. I'll be right back. Thanks for joining us again. Goma was 60 seconds on Agric, and this program is proudly brought to you by Lizzie Tomato Mix. Joining me now is Mr. Jamra. He's an extension officer, Agric extension officer here in the Eastern region. Thanks for joining us once again.
Thank you.
How long can we keep this seeds for before it expires?
Okay. Thank you. You can keep these seeds for a very long time. It can take about more than a year, and you can still have it fresh,
intact.
All that you need to do is to dry it. Once it is dried, you can keep it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where do I keep it? What do I keep it in to avoid moisture and all that?
Yeah, we keep it in sacks, in dry or cool places, and from time to time you bring it out to dry it. From time to time you check the moisture content, then you put it in the sun to dry it.
Considering the items, or do I say seeds or crops that are listed on Ghana Commodity Exchange, I realize alligator pepper is not part of it.
Okay.
But from the conversation we just had, it has a lot of market viability and it has a lot of, benefits that farmers can derive from it. But we are not pushing noise about it for a lot of farmers to invest into it. How do we go encouraging people to invest in alligator pepper?
Okay. I think we've started doing something on that sort in the Asamankase district, and not only in Asamankase district, but all the district along the Etiwa range. Like you're saying, you need a very forest area, and we need a certain terrain for alligator pepper to grow well.
Okay.
So we do it along the Etiwa range where it is a little bit uphill.
Okay.
And the district is on the Etiwa range, and we have some other districts which are also on the Etiwa forest range. And it is on this forest that we can do this alligator pepper for it to thrive well. So what we are doing here is all the communities around this forest range, we are forming groups in there for farmers to go in. Like when they come to our district, we have Orem here where the forest is. And then you go to Akanten, there's also another farmers, group of farmers in there. So we are trying to bring them together.
Encouraging them, putting them together to grow
more
of it.
So
alligator pepper.
Alligator pepper.
Okay.
So areas where it grows well, any farmer that is there, that knows that is willing to go, because it is intensive and labor intensive to cultivate. So if you're a lazy farmer, you can't go into it. Like farming express, you can't use chemical. You need to do manual weeding around, and the hill for you to climb to where the hill is for you to cultivate is not easy.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. And if you don't take it and you get access routes, it's difficult to go up and come.
I know if you want to cultivate maize or chili pepper or anything, you can go to a shop and buy the seedling and then come and do the nursery. Is it the same with alligator pepper as well?
No, it's not. It's not the same. You need somebody who has already done it, and then you take the rhizomes from the person for you to also go and cultivate.
Does it mean when I go to the seedling production centers, I will not get the nursery to buy?
The nursery to buy, you're not going to get.
I see. All right. What 1 or 2 words would you give, advice would you give to those who are already planting this, or those who are aspiring, maybe after this interview, want to go into that?
Okay, those who are already doing it, like we are forming association of alligator pepper farmers in the district. So I'll encourage each and everyone who is already into it to come to the district's agric office for us to put them together, or for us to tell them where they can get or how they can be part of the association. When they are in this association, they are going to get a prize, or they are going to get a bargaining power to sell the commodity, to give them a good price as well.
So there you have it. Put yourself together, visit the agric office, and they'll help you to do better in terms of growing alligator pepper and marketing it. Thank you very much for watching. See you next week.